Hello everyone. The topic we're going to see today is ownership. This has nothing to do with some legal terms or ownership about the property, building. No, this is ownership at your workplace. There are many facts which clearly says 90% of the companies in India is not interested in instilling or exerting the sense of ownership to their employees. The reason is not open. So first of all, let me make it very clear what exactly the ownership is with a real life example. Just imagine it's a Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. You are going to your client place and there is a scheduled meeting at 10:30. You have booked the Ola cab and you're enjoying your ride. You're sitting back and checking your WhatsApp message, your mails, files for the client meeting, everything goes smooth and you are halfway reached to the client place. Then bang, there was a small accident. So nobody got hurt here. Driver is safe, you are safe. There is a small scratch or dent in the car. Now honestly say, what will you do as a passenger? 99% of us will do sit inside and think driver will sort out the problem as soon as possible and hope that he returns and takes the car. If it takes longer time than we expect, we get down and get another cab and go to a meeting. And just imagine the same situation, you're going to the meeting by your own car. The same accident happens. Will you sit inside and wait for somebody to sort the problem out, or will you just get out and take another cab and go to the client place? No. You will get onto the road, you will take all your fighting skills, all the abusive words which you have learned in your childhood, so just to sort out the problem by yourself. This is what the major example is. You own the car. You are here to find the solution. You own the problem. You own the company. You will always be finding a solution. So the major question here is, how many of us or how many of you think the current company which you are working, the current organization which you are working as a Ola cab, whenever there is a problem, let's wait and hope. My job is not affected. My paycheck is being credited every first week of the month. So why should I worry? Why should I stand out in the road and fix the problem? Because it's not affecting me directly. So to keep the honest answers with you, the biggest example for owning the company, because you cannot directly go to your boss and say that I'm going to own this company from today. No, it's going to upset your boss, of course. The best example of this is like, let's consider the company called Infosys. Now, there is a big setback in Infosys share, and there is a fall in Infosys share price in last whole month. Let's consider there is a guy who is working as a software developer in the Infosys company. His job is to create a code and bring the output. Do you think he will be worried about this fall in the share price? Not absolutely, because he's not even cared about it. His job is to create a coding and his job is not affected directly by the share price. But here you are holding 1,000 shares of Infosys, but you're not working with Infosys. What will you do? You will be really upset. Though you're not working there, you are a part of the company. You own a part of the company. Now it definitely give you sadness. The same and vice versa. If the shares are doing really good, that program developer is not going to be happy because he will be the same. He will be doing the same program. He'll be worried about the same result of the program, whereas you will be a happy man now. This is what owning a company is. Owning company shares, owning company's problem, and finding the solution as if it is your own problem. If you want to know where do you stand in this sense of ownership, there are some a ladder technique to find out where exactly you are currently and where exactly you want to go in future. The first step in this ladder is unaware. An employee, or you as a team member, you as a team leader, you as a part of organization, is completely unaware about the situation or the problems which the management or the company is facing. So now you're not taking the problem with you. You don't even know what is a problem. The second step is make excuses. Whatever the problem, just blame others, make excuses, and just sit. If you think that you are not in the first step because you know what is a problem the company is going under, and you don't make any excuses because you have no habit of like blaming others, then the third point would be the most worst. Knowing the problem and not blaming anyone and just waiting and hope for the problem to get solved by somebody else. You just wait just because your job is safe, your salary is credited. Now here is the saturation point comes. The next thing is like own the problem. Knowing the problem and owning the problem. The moment you started owning the problem, you will understand the base of the problem. Then automatically you will start finding solutions. Not one, there will be many ways to come out of the problem. So now you will have handful of solutions. Directly it will lead to the problem solving. So you will fix the problem by yourself without waiting for anybody, without blaming anyone, without making any excuses. So let's coming to the next topic. Whatever the disease which we have, there will be having some symptoms, causes, and the treatment, right? The same. If company has a problem, if company lacks this ownership skill, there will be some symptom in the beginning stage itself. There will be some causes, and there has to be some solution. So let's see one or two symptoms which a company which lacks ownership. If you think that your organization, your team, or you are lacking in these points, try to find out a solution just to cure that disease as soon as possible before it becomes fatal. The first symptom is, as you can see in this image, the process will become as slow as possible. You know what? Let's consider there are four processes for a manufacturing company. Let's have a car manufacturing company. Process A, B, C, D. Team A is a marketing team. They bring the customers. Team B is sales team. They convince, negotiate with the customers. They get the order and they give it to the team C. Now the team C has to go and meet the customer in person, get the document signed, and get everything cleared to start the manufacturing for this imported model. Now what happens is the entire job the team C can take, or entire time they can take, is hardly 2 to 3 days. Let's keep as a practical situation. But unfortunately team C is taking around 10 to 15 days. The process is slow now. So whom to blame? Now let's conclude that team C has lack of ownership. So what would be the cause or a basic or root? Let's consider this as a team C. They have these many tasks to do. These many tasks has to be approved by a management. Now what happens? You can see this task has been has a proper flow in this. But most of the corporate companies term this as bottleneck. This step automatically slows down the process, and it automatically affects the result. Just imagine team C has all the decision making power, at least 50% of decision making power, then this bottleneck will automatically become bigger. Now the results will be as soon as possible. And also the team C here doesn't care about the result because their process is just to do that process C, not the result. So this is where the process gets slow just because of one team which has a lack of ownership. The entire results are being delayed where the efforts of team A or team B, process A and process B, is going in vain. So this is a first symptom. The second symptom is a very common symptom which most of the company come across. So whenever, just imagine, whenever you sit on a meeting, it can be a half yearly, quarterly, monthly meeting. It's a group of all the managers from other team. The moment the meeting starts, we are discussing about the problem. Everybody will start blaming others. Team A will say, no, that team has not done the job. They will say, this team has not done the job. He will say, no, he has not signed. He has not given the money. Everyone will start blaming each other. Do you know, or have you thought what would be the major cause for this symptom? Blaming others? The the first and foremost cause is micromanaging. Author Eric Chester says the direct, unofficial antonym for the word ownership is micromanaging. Just imagine, you hire a person, you train a person, he started working. Now you are micromanaging each and every tasks of him. Then what is the purpose of hiring and training? You yourself can do the job. This completely slows down the process, spoils the time, and you lack the trust, and you yourself is losing credibility as a trainer, as a hirer, as a manager, any credibility which you have. If you are worried about each and every task of your subordinate. So directly what happens, once you start micromanaging, the team will think that only my process is important, not my result. Because my boss is always looking at my system, my process, he'll be worried about the process. He'll not even care about the result. Whatever the result comes, he'll first think that, thank God, I have done my process well. My manager was seeing from behind me, so I'm not even cared about the result. So this is what happens in most of the companies and directly affects the result. But this has to be sorted out, of course, to build a sense of ownership. The one of the biggest author, Chester, says that most of the companies hire an employee for this. For example, let's keep it as a drone. So they want him to fly the drone. So they will give the drone to him. He will be happy that he has the drone, but his manager will be having the remote. Just imagine the situation. The drone is flying, employee is looking at it, but the manager is operating. Does it make any sense? No. So this is where you have to think. If you are a team leader, you do at least one thing among this, you have to correct yourself. If you are a team member, you see at least one thing from your team leader, you have a responsibility to take it to your team leader in a polite way to come up with a solution. The third symptom is like among 80% of employee has, that we have already discussed, unaware, or which who doesn't have awareness about the problem which the company undergoes. This can be split into two. From the perspective of the employee, he is not aware of the problem, or his job is very safe. If you look at from the management point of view, management is not transparent to each and every employee. Management doesn't want to show what is a financial problem it undergoes. So this can be taken from both the sides. It has to be sorted. Only if the employee is aware about the problem that the management undergoes, he will come up with a solution. Only if the management is transparent to the employee about the problem, they can expect the result out of the employee. So this has to be in mutual aspect. So to conclude, if a job is to open a lock for an employee and a manager or the management holds the key, the employee has to go to the management and stand in queue every time to get a key. And when he tries to open a key, his team leaders are standing behind him and just closely watching whether he's opening it rightly or not, whether we have trained him rightly or not, worried about his task. And the moment he opens, he's not allowed to open the door. He's only worried about opening the lock. Now, do you think the productivity will increase? No. Just try this once. Tell him what is behind the door. Tell him why he has to open the lock. Tell him the reason for his job. Now you will not believe even your employee will be capable of creating a own key or technique to open the lock without your help. Give him ownership and expect the maximum result out of him it will be 100% positive result for you. Thank you for joining.